In the zodiac, there are four elements of astrology, each going in chronological order. They are fire, earth, air, water. So, today I'm going to be talking about the element of fire. So, the element of fire is, as you know, orange in color. It's very, very hot. It's very warm. You see it in fireplaces when you light, for example, a spark of fire or a match, and if you light it, then one could just, turn into a lot, and it could just, eventually get up to burning the woods. So that's so prominent and something that I want to really get on when it comes to fire. So this is, so if you think about the actual element of fire besides the astrology and how hot and burning it is, fire is that masculine element, which is about action, doing. The element of drive, really having a lot of the energy and the ambition and the, high powered go get 'em enthusiasm quality. This can also have to do with charisma. They're very charismatic. They have that spark, because fire has that spark to life. That passion for life and living, going out into the world, doing this or that. The energy, the enthusiasm is also the element of romance. It's very loud. Um, you know, if you think about just the wonders of life and all they really have to offer, fire is really all about seizing that. Very bold, outward, exuberant. Um, you know, Fire is all about that initiating element, that energy element, uh, and just loving children and really stimulating and loving adventure and wanting to see life as a movie. That get up and go quality. Um, so very exuberant, very generous, very giving, thirst for life, living it sacredly, living life sacredly. Fire is also very philosophical, so having that philosophy, loving freedom. Now, the downside, this can be impulsive, doing things without thinking about them. This can be also arrogance, just, bossing this person around, that person around, and can also be selfish, meaning doing something for yourself that 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 downplays others, basically that hurts others. That's what selfish means. Combative. Fire is also very combative. Uh, you know, this is not a word, but altercative, like altercation. Destructive. There's no in between really when it comes to fire. It's hot or hot. Selfish, also looking at ego, narcissism, not naysaying. Naysaying is just, being skeptical over, this or that maybe. Um, It's not necessarily narcissism, although it could be paired with narcissism. Really being strong in your beliefs and not giving those up, which is not selfish. So, clumsy, also, clumsy um, all over the place as well. Fire signs are very extroverted, wanting the center of attention, wanting to be loved and noticed and adored, appreciated, wanting to be the leader, wanting, um, the freedom of, doing this or that, going its own way, speaking their mind, social, expressing themselves, magnetic, like think of a magnet, you're drawn to that. Also very restless, not willing to just stop. Restless and spontaneous. Um, Spontaneous, just not going off with, you know, going off what somebody tells them, just not wanting to go along with that. Also, there's an appreciation with some beauty as well. Probably not the, Venusian beauty as much as another type of beauty. Fire really, really needs to keep itself stimulated, keep that fire burning. Earth, which is the element of stability, practicality, things being solid, the rhythms of the earth, groundedness, counterbalances fire. I mean, air is the element that is so similar, um, you know, to fire, and then you have, which is also counterbalances complements the fire, and then earth and water. Water is also the element of the feminine sensitivity, emotions, intuitions, security, which, emotional security, which counterbalances the fire. So if you think about all four elements being in balance, like the tires of your car, you know, you can't have one tire over another tire, filled with too much air, um, too much, the fire tire overpowers the water tire, where that, those emotions and the connections and the human really is overpowered. And I want to recommend to you this book, Missing Elements, Inspiring Compassion for the Human Condition. Um, and this book, as you can see here, Deborah Silverman is an astrologer, psychologist, and in this book, she starts. She worked with Sting, and her work is based off of Carl Jung's psychology. So, chapter 1 is crisis, chapter 2 is the observer, it's elemental, and then she goes through the story of the element, so a personal story of a celebrity or someone that she knew, working with the element of water, and then water woman, watermen, and so go that for all the other elements. And the chapters are really broken down into like this picture here, and then you have a wonderful introduction, and it breaks it down into several categories, and it has all of these little uh, smaller little quotes and things like that. And so I'm just going to read to you. Find a new way to understand yourself and others using the wisdom of the ancients and your natural ability for compassion. The missing element was written for all of us who have ever felt that something was wrong with us, that we are odd and outside the norm. Drawing on her profound spiritual knowledge and sensitivity, Deborah Silverman seeks to help you see beyond your perceived flaws, to find your true self, your gifts, and your place in the world. Fusing psychology and spirituality, Silverman offers ways to embrace and making peace with ourselves so that we can become more powerful and effective human beings. Her teaching comes from the wisdom of the elders. Using personality types that are based on the four elements, she reveals that whatever pain you experience is specific to your personality and that your issues will repeat themselves again and again until you see yourselves and others from the compassionate vantage point that unites all of us. Um, so, yeah, balancing these elements, fire, earth, air, water, affects your health, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical well being thought patterns. Fire looks at the heart. Yeah, just the feeling and the loving center, mind, and intellect. Fire can be excessive. Fire looks at the planets of the Sun, Mars, and Jupiter, the signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius in astrology. Aries is March 21st through April 19th, early spring. Leo is July 23rd through August 22nd, August, not the other. Sagittarius is November 22nd through December 21st. And these are cardinal that get up and go, that initiating, that leadership. Fixed fire Leo, very strong if you think about fixed, not, giving up the position, loving, loyal, that's upside to fixed. Stubborn, downside to it. And Sagittarius is mutable fire, which is, all over the place, very adaptable, changeable. The end of this season fixes the middle of this season, Cardinals the beginning of the season. We have the Ram, Lion, Centaur as those fire symbols. Fire is about action, so doing as opposed to energy. We really, really need to balance the masculine with the feminine, that receptivity, taking things one side step at a time. Love, you know, fire needs to keep moving. That fire has to keep burning. Exercise, moving the body. Fire has to do with body. Fire is alive. Moving energy, challenging themselves. With the fire and you know, just all of those things as well. So you can get a sense of what fire is in this video. Thank